Welcome to Hot Wired. In today's top story, Europe has a trade bazooka against Trump's trade tariffs. Tensions are rising between the European Union and the United States as a looming trade deadline approaches. President Trump's threat of a 30% tariff on EU imports has the EU considering its most powerful weapon yet, the Anti-Coercion Instrument, or ACI, dubbed the trade bazooka. This isn't just a squabble over tariffs, it's a potential escalation with far-reaching consequences for global trade. The dispute stems from a long-running trade imbalance. While total trade between the EU and the US reached a staggering $1.97 trillion in 2024, the EU enjoys a surplus in goods but a deficit in services. President Trump, repeatedly accusing the EU of unfair practices, has threatened to impose a 30% tariff on August 1st unless a trade deal is reached. This drastic measure threatens to disrupt billions of dollars in trade and significantly impact both economies. The EU's response isn't just talk. Member states, notably France and Germany, are seriously considering deploying the ACI, a powerful tool created in 2023 but never before used. This instrument goes far beyond simple retaliatory tariffs. The ACI allows the EU to restrict US suppliers' access to the EU market, potentially excluding them from public tenders, imposing limits on investment, and restricting exports and imports of goods and services. This could impact major US players across various sectors, including tech giants like Amazon, Microsoft, Netflix, and Uber, and significantly affect the US service sector, where it holds a trade surplus with the EU. The ACI's power lies in its potential for deterrence. The EU insists its response measures will be proportionate, targeted, and temporary, designed solely to end the perceived economic coercion. However, the process isn't instantaneous. The European Commission would need to investigate, secure member state approval through a qualified majority, and engage in dialogue before implementing any measures. While this nuclear option remains a last resort, its very existence significantly strengthens the EU's negotiating position. Last-ditch negotiations are currently underway, with the EU aiming for a 10% baseline tariff with exemptions for key industries like autos, agriculture, and aerospace. Analysts believe that Trump's 30% threat is likely a negotiating tactic. However, the EU has made it clear that anything exceeding a 15% tariff will trigger significant retaliation, potentially including the deployment of the ACI and counter tariffs impacting as much as €116 billion in US exports. The EU's willingness to utilize the ACI underscores the seriousness of the situation and the high stakes involved in these ongoing trade negotiations. The coming weeks will be crucial. The outcome of these negotiations will not only shape the transatlantic relationship but also have significant implications for the global trading system, highlighting the rising power of the EU and its determination to protect its interests in the face of aggressive trade tactics.